Hi, I'm Graham Elwood. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. I want to talk about an article in the March 21st Los Angeles Times entitled OxyContin Drug Maker Seeks to Dismiss City's Lawsuit. So what happened was Everett, Washington has sued Purdue Pharmaceuticals, which makes OxyContin, has filed a lawsuit against them for the OxyContin, which is basically, it's just pharmaceutical heroin. It's awful. It's an epidemic. I'm sure you've heard about it. That is really damaging communities all across America. And this city did something they're suing them. And what this goes into is what happened was Purdue Pharmaceutical did their own independent investigation, and they found, corrupt doctors that were, giving away fake prescriptions, and some doctors that were selling their product directly to gangs and stuff, and they didn't report it to the police. And of course, they're claiming that that's not true. I don't trust pharmaceutical companies at all. I don't, because yes, I know some people that work for them. They do some products that have helped people. I've taken some pharmaceuticals that have helped me. But what I see overall was they're not about finding cures or stuff like that. They're just about turning a massive profit. And they have hidden information about side effects. They have done all this stuff because anything that affects their bottom line, they're gonna, if it's gonna negatively affect their bottom line, they're gonna cover it up. So I just don't trust them, and there's no way they haven't been aware of the OxyContin outbreak, and there's no way that someone in one of their boardrooms went, maybe we could make a little. Sales are up, so maybe let's not. Something at the very least, they turned a blind eye to it. At the very least, but I think that's me being overly optimistic. I'll go into the details of the lawsuit and then some of the investigation that has happened with regard to this company and drug rings and stuff like that. So in a motion filed in federal court in Seattle, attorneys for Purdue Pharma wrote that the suit by Everett, Washington suffered from multiple independent legal failings, including statute of limitations problems and a failure to demonstrate a close connection between the company's conduct and the criminal acts of drug dealers and addicts. So their claim, they're taking a sort of a similar, like a gun lobby stance of, hey, we made a product legally, and if people get a hold of it illegally, that's not our problem. You're profiting from this. So, and Everett, Washington is a city near the Puget Sound, near Seattle. It has a city of about 100,000 people. So what has happened is the Los Angeles Times has been doing an investigation of this. And then here's what the Times is reporting. The newspaper revealed how lawyers, analysts, and investigators at Purdue's Connecticut headquarters had worked to identify corrupt physicians and pharmacies colluding with OxyContin traffickers and addicts, but in many cases did not share the information with law enforcement or cut off the flow of the pills. And what are they going to do? Are they going to admit, will they go, that was wrong, we shouldn't have done this, and we're going to, pay the price and give money to rehab, whatever? No, they're going to fight it in law. They're just going to have their big lawyers going this way. That's why you guys are here on YouTube trying to get in truth and information, because everything out there is bullshit. I was just watching the ABC Evening News, right? The 6 o'clock ABC News that normally Dave Muir reports on, and they had some other Dave Muir clone, looked exactly like him. And they're doing okay news or whatever. Every single commercial was either a pharmaceutical product or some type of banking investment thing. So it's the banks and the pharmaceutical companies are buying all the ad time. That's why, how can you trust ABC? How can you trust Fox? How can you trust MSNBC? Look who's buying their ad time. I don't trust them at all. These pharmaceutical companies, and this was a law passed in the 90s, I believe that was Bill Clinton that allowed this legislation. Pharmaceutical companies did not used to be able to were not allowed to advertise on television, and that law changed in the 90s. I wonder if anyone made a profit from that. Back to the article. One Los Angeles ring, tracked by Purdue and highlighted by the Times, supplied large quantities of OxyContin to gang members and other criminals who trafficked the drug to the Crips leader in Everett between 2008 and 2010. The dealers sold the highly addictive pills to low-level dealers who blanketed the entire region. Many addicts later switched to heroin, a cheaper opioid. Oh, God. By the time Purdue shared what it knew about the LA ring with law enforcement, years later, 1 million pills of heroin, of pharmaceutical grade heroin, spilled onto the black market, and the ringleaders were under indictment. So they waited a couple years. So that's cool. Yeah. Hey, someone's been robbing you right now, and I'm aware of it and could maybe stop it, but I'm profiting from you getting robbed and the addiction and your neighborhood being destroyed. So is it cool if I just don't, I tell the cops, but like a little down the road after I turn a profit? And granted, you know, people in your neighborhood are dead or hooked on drugs and all the other things that come with that, and gangs kind of take over. And is that cool? But hey, I made a profit and my shareholders, they're fucking high-fiving. So is that cool? Is that cool? Another reason why America is completely morally bankrupt from the top down? So the city of Everett claimed in the lawsuit that the heroin crisis is directly attributed to Purdue. That's their lawsuit. Good for them. If you live in Everett, Washington, kudos. Tell them to fight the good fight. Purdue, of course, moved the case from the state courthouse in Everett to federal court, traditionally seen as a more friendly venue for corporations. Really? The federal government is more friendly to corporations? I wonder if it's like when I got to have an independent foreclosure review after I lost my house to One West Bank, which I've talked about on this show, and I also have talked about it on the Jimmy Dore program and Aggressive Progressive. The judges were all in the pocket with the mortgage company, so there was no way they were going to force the mortgage company to give me back my house because they had done a bunch of illegal things. Robo-signing, they had told me personally to stop paying my bills so that once I fall behind on my mortgage, then they were going to help me out with the plan, and I did it what they asked, and then they said, oh, you weren't making payments? That's how the federal courts work. That's why they're bullshit too. So local courts have a little more, there's a little more at stake because more people are aware and can vote out a local judge. We got to pay more attention to federal judges. Vote them all out, man. Anyone that has any history of any corporate anything, the next fucking election, vote them out. Because this is what they're going to do. They're going to allow heroin addiction to happen in small towns and like Everett, Washington, all over America, as long as the pharmaceutical companies, you know, they're paying off judges. You know that they are. Not like mob style giving them an envelope, but oh, here we're going to fly all these judges to Aruba or something like that. Or we're going to this is the big one, we're going to donate to this judge's campaign. That's how they do it legally. So this article, which I'll put the link below, goes into the whole things. So here's the last part of the article, just to kind of let you know where it's at. They argued that the suit was flawed because law enforcement, aware that black market OxyContin was a problem, had been investigating the LA Ring and the Everett Crips leader during some of the years in question. Oh, so they were already investigating it. As the Times reported last year, well, if the cops already investigated, why would our information help them with an investigation? Why would it help them now? Why would they got it? I don't need to give you any information. As the Times reported last year, the company's security team possessed a trove of highly detailed evidence of illicit OxyContin sales, including prescribing data, pharmacy sales records, field reports, and surveillance information that allowed Purdue to quickly identify problems. And see, they would have to get a court order to get access to Purdue's records. Drug Enforcement Administration agents who helped bring down the LA ring and local investigators in Everett who arrested the gang leader there did not have that information and told the paper it would have aided in their work. In a statement, an Everett spokeswoman said officials look forward to presenting our arguments in the court refuting Purdue's position. Yeah, man, Everett, I hope you win. Stay on top of little stories like this, guys, and pay attention to it's the little, voting out the little people. I mean, yeah, we all want the senators and all that stuff, but the little politicians at the local level, if they're taking money from a big corporation, vote them out. Like this, subscribe, Patreon link below. Thanks for watching.